You wake up one morning to find an email in your inbox inviting you to create an account on UsNet, a social media platform made up entirely of versions of you from alternate timelines in the multiverse. Part 1. 10,000 likes in 24 hours and nobody knew her name. Eleanor Rose Ludke rose to me. She was short, her head rested perfectly against my chest when I hugged her. She was slim, warm like a spring day, all light brown hair and gentle smiles, an air of things to come, of a future growing. When the first 100 or so me's responded and none of them knew her name, I started showing them her picture, my favorite, the one from the lighthouse. All of the me's agreed she was very pretty. Most of the me's, being single, said they very much wished they could meet one of her. I included that picture on the post. Nothing, not a word, not a single me in all the multiplicity of the universes that even recognized her. I pushed back from my desk, bleary-eyed and worried. I put the computer to sleep, then woke it up again and shut it off, then unplugged the computer and turned off my phone for good measure. After a few more on-off cycles, I deleted the UsNet app and put my phone in a cabinet. I had heard about it before, in the way you hear about anything you don't really believe, on the internet, and from the sort of friends who can never quite tell fact from fiction. UsNet. It's supposed to be some sort of futuristic social media, developed in some far-off splinter of humanity, where the people were so afraid of the outside world that they decided that only communicating with other versions of themselves was the only proper way to make friends. The company mission statement made it all sound so clean, literally clean. They portrayed inter-identity friendships as a sort of information sanitation procedure. Like the only way a person can truly know themselves is to know only themselves and no one else. In reality, most people didn't use it like that. It probably still would have been healthier than what I did. I, in my infinite wisdom, decided to immediately go through all of the me's pictures. There were the standards, of course: holidays in Europe, spring breaks in Mexico, farmers markets and skydiving, and a board of hobbies no one actually likes. Several of the me's were blacksmiths, very interesting. Several more were lawyers, I would die. Several more were in prison, I would also die. One was the president. Most were single, some were dating, some were married, many were divorced, and none of them had ever met Rose. It's inconceivable, I thought, opening another beer. Absolutely inconceivable, I said to no one at all. And how could it not be? Rose was a force of nature. She was warm as a spring day, yes, but that was because she was the sun. She wasn't the wind. The wind changed. Wind came and went, and often smelled very nice and was very refreshing when it was there. But when the wind went away, you didn't miss it. The breeze does not feel like a part of you. The sun does. All the realities have the sun, even the far future one where they blew it up. They still missed it so badly that they put in a new one. A me would put in a new Rose. A me would need it. I drank the beer too fast, like I drunk the last two. Then I plugged the computer back in and got back on UsNet. 12,000 likes, still nothing. I had asked the simplest question. Have any of us seen this girl? Their negatives begged the further question. Who did I kiss goodbye this morning? Dimly, I heard the front door open. Juliet, our cat, shot by on her way there. Miss me? Rose called. Computer off, unplugged, forgotten, not forgotten but still, forget about it. Always, I said, standing again. She wore a white dress stitched with flowers, a pair of shoes whose name was very important to her, but which I could never remember. They were black, a locket which almost never came off, an over-the-shoulder bag, a smile, and a smell like fresh air, lavender and just a bit of good, honest sweat. She'd been running after children all day. Writing didn't go so well? She said, pointing at the beer in my hand. Oh no, it's fine. I just needed a little creativity boost. She gave me a stern, we'll talk about this later sort of look and set down her bag, pausing to pet Juliet. Weird question, I said. Hit me. You're real, right? Laughter like bells or some such. I loved hearing it. Of course. What, another thing about me being Angel? Just feeling awfully lucky today. She scooped Juliet up. The shaggy old cat twisted, meowing with annoyance. Rose gave me a quick kiss and walked off towards the bathroom, saying, "Let me love you," to the squirming package of cat in her arms. Juliet was free again inside 10 steps. The shower started. I imagined her in there, looking in the rapidly fogging mirror for a moment as she often did. She had never said what she was thinking then, but I had come to believe that it wasn't simply vanity. There was a look in her eyes when she did that was too searching for that. a look that went deeper than the skin, a look that only ended when she took off her locket, a thing she always contrived to do last. I poked my head in as she stepped into the shower, and she let out a little shriek, hopped in quick as she could. "Yep," I said, "definitely real." Before she was out again, I was back on UsNet. Part 2. Bedtime for us started and ended with poetry. Rose loved Auden, Neruda, and Keats, and 1,000 others. I loved Yeats, because poetry had never been my thing, but there was just something about the old Irishman. We bedded down with a book of Neruda's love sonnets and Yeats' collected works. I took requests until we were both tired and it was time to stop reading. She fell asleep between one whisper and the next, and I lay there for an hour before I finally gave up and went back to my office. 30,000 likes and not a single me had ever seen her. Could she have gone by another name? I thought, scanning the comments. But no, the comments section had thought that too. The search had expanded without me. It was no longer about an Eleanor Rose Lutke. Now, it was simply for any woman matching her description. Other me's compared notes, asked questions about other points of contact. Did we all the same parents? Yes, save for those which were genetically engineered. Did we all have the same first love? No, though a number of me's, myself included, shared one girl in particular. Did we all have the same favorite football team? No, in most realities football did not exist. And on and on. Suffice to say, there were many points of similarity throughout the me's, and in all the thousands of comments, nobody had yet put forth a person that was not shared by at least 5 other me's. Inconceivable. My messages were the same. The FAQs were of no help whatsoever, and any time I tried to reach outside my immediate network of duplicates, all of my questions were directed there. I couldn't jump tracks to another network of me's. I couldn't masquerade as another Rose and query all of the hers in existence. Inconceivable. Infuriating. Terrifying because, even though we'd known each 4 years and I'd loved her since the first moment I saw her, in a little rented room in an unfamiliar town, 1,000 miles from the rest of my life, I had always somehow known this moment was coming. Rose was too good for me. She always had been, always would be. She was a lightning bolt, and it appeared lightning in fact did not strike twice. She was an angel come down to bless me and me alone, and I was terrified, absolutely terrified, by the fact that there wasn't anyone out there at all who could prove there was a happy ending. None of them had married her. None of them had grown old with her, had children. None of them had taken her on their storybook trips to Europe like I so badly wanted to do. Or, I forced the thought down, none of them had even had a first date. A few more comments came in while I was looking. So this has never happened before, right? Not that I've seen. I'm original universe and this shit looks new. Should we be scared for OP? A light came on in the hallway. I jumped halfway out of the seat, then I minimized UsNet, opened Scrivener. When Rose walked in through the open office door, it looked like I'd been working on my book. Just had an idea, I said. I had to get it down. She wore a pair of beaten-up old shorts, one of my shirts, a sleepy, confused smile, and her locket. "Come back to bed," she said. "It's too big." "In a minute, promise." "Yeah? Well, you owe me a poem when you do." "Adam's Curse?" I said, offering up one of my favorites. She nodded, yawned, kissed my forehead. The locket slipped forward, brushed my lips. I made a little show of kissing it. "One of these days," I said, "you're gonna have to show me what's inside that thing." She kissed me, deeply, till I forgot everything down to the depths of my soul. "Finish your book, and I will," she said. I watched her walk all the way out, and my heart followed her the rest of the way down the hall. My phone pinged. I had reinstalled the UsNet app shortly after giving up on sleep. I'd delete it again, though. Maybe in the morning, maybe right after I checked this message. I could tell the app was going to be terrible for my anxiety, to say nothing of my productivity. "Don't tell her you know," the message said. Short, sweet, to the point, and nothing else. The account had no picture, no bio, just my name and all the same connections, an endless sea of me's in common. What the hell? I thought. A typing icon popped up, disappeared, reappeared, and "don't look in the locket." I took a single shaky breath. My whole body felt unaccountably cold. Don't look in the locket. How many hundreds of times had I asked her what was in that locket over the years? I'd fallen in love with writing just by writing short stories about what might be behind that little gilded door. I checked the messages again. The account on the other end was gone. My phone buzzed again. She had sent me a picture. Rose, curled up in bed, Yeats' collected works open in the space where I should be, a sad emoji superimposed over it all. "Coming," I called. I stood on unsteady legs, made my way back to the bedroom. She was there, still wearing the locket and that perfect smile, and nothing else save a sheet. "Do I look real to you?" she said, pulling the sheet back. I tried to answer, but my mouth was too dry.